Well, good morning. I we're having a nice little northeaster on May 22nd up here in New England. It hasn't really kicked in yet, but it's going right around noonish. So let's get some music going before it happens, right? And we're gonna do some blues and show you some riffs. And it's gonna be a little call response between chords and riffs. Okay. And let's start with a riff. Let's put in a chord. So there you have it. There's this cool little riff. I've played with this one a lot. It's kind of like a little mix between if you thought of a major pentatonic scale, right? So if I had A major pentatonic, right? So I got A, B, C, C sharp. I like to throw in that regular three, minor three and three. In there, and then I got 5, 6, 1, right? And then if you just think about the upper notes from that, so these notes, right? So if I mix those notes in with my minor pentatonic scale, right? So I can actually kind of have a little morphed mix up right there. So A, C, if I want to do the D, I can. E, F sharp, G, A, B, C, C sharp, right? Right? So I'm kind of like a little in between minor pentatonic and major pentatonic, just mashing it up together. And this riff right here, I've heard this go a few times like this. Right, so that's a nice one. Right. So that was starting from the E, hitting the F sharp A, B. I can hit that business, right? Or I can do. So there, once I hit the B, I went back and revisited A, and then came out on C natural. So I get a right. In the minor pentatonic scale, also think about the fact that you can actually throw in that major 7. Right? So you can do all that. And that's where you can get cool stuff like that. Right? So there's a lot of additional notes that can be tossed in to fill up the scale a little bit more. It gives it a little more chromatic edge too, right? And then here, I went to a 6, 2, 5, 1 ending instead of the typical. So it's a little more of a jazzier blues turnaround type of thing. And so on the F sharp, I actually did F sharp. Right, so that was F sharp, A, B, C. It's really nothing more than right. So it's really that same riff, just in a different register. It's a B7 altered. It's actually got a sharp 5, sharp 9. And I guess let me see. I got my A. I got an E flat. Okay. And then I've got G. Well, I should think of that. relation to the F sharp. Oh, it's a flat. Yeah, it's a. No, I'm thinking B. I'm sorry. So flat 7, 3. There's the sharp 5. It's F double sharp or G, and then D natural is the sharp 9. This guy here is the regular 3, so D sharp. A, D sharp. That's 7, 3. 7, 3, sharp 5, sharp 9. Some of these things I fall into, and I know what it is, but I don't really always sit down and figure out, okay, what's what in it, you know, so. But there you go, there it is. And I think I stayed on that idea. So on the F sharp 7, we had this. And then I went kind of a little morphed out change of the riff, right? Then I went to an E7 sharp 9, and I just went right down the A blues scale after that one. Right? You can come out a whole bunch of ways. One of the things I did, I could have hit an E7 sharp 5, which is what this is. This is flat 7, 3, okay? B sharp, which is C, and then the root there. So that's an E7 sharp 5 chord. And then I can run down chromatically an E9 chord. Finally come out on A9, right? And then finally I tried to do up a little bit of double stop riff. Right? So this one, I take the 5 and the 1, flat the 5, put a little bit of D and F sharp, so a little bit of 4 chord hitting here, and then I roll that over to the root, right? And then do your flat 3-3 trick. And then this was a suspension, okay? D and A, and then I resolve the suspension and get the D to C sharp. It's one of those riffs that you never do it the same way twice. Sometimes I'll take that off into other areas. Here's another little trick I like to do a lot too, is I throw the 6 into a minor pentatonic. So instead of doing E, G, A, I'll do E, F sharp A, and then hit up on C. I could stay right here. And if I hit it out there, then it's a, you know, a cool little. It can put me into some of these little tricks, right? Right, so that was the F sharp down, rolled over to the D, E rolled down into the C, up to the D, roll to A, and roll back to C. So D. Right, so it's kind of fun with those. So a lot of fun, and that's again, it's kind of that morphed out major minor trick, you know. So in between the minor pentatonic on the blues scale or the major pentatonic, and the major pentatonic I always try to throw in the flat 3. Right, so I'm not just doing A, B, C sharp, E, F sharp, A. Not that I can't, that's another route. And I know a little thing, I don't know if everybody has kind of noticed, but I like playing with thumb and middle finger. Right? You get somebody like Matteo Mancuso, and he'll do it middle index. Actually, no, on something like that, no, that's where he would introduce the thumb. If he's doing arpeggios, then he branches things out. Right? So he. So yeah, he's kind of a mix-up of fingers and thumb, and I guess I'm more or less the same, you know. But I really favor that thumb middle thing. It just for me it lines up. Maybe somebody else it might be thumb index. I don't know. To me, that's a little too close of a grouping, and this here I have space. Nothing gets in the way of anything. So in blues, a lot of times it's really all the inflection, the soulfulness that you put into it, the speaking, the musical phrase. It's not about speed so much. Not bad if you can peel off a lightning fast thing, but it's really more about the phrase and what are you trying to say with the music, you know. And I know a lot of blues players, leaders of bands would tell them, hey, you know, let's slow it down. And if they were using a pick, they'd take the pick away and say, yeah, just play with your thumb, you know. So they would try to keep their speed up, but, you know, or if you think of Wes Montgomery, everything was thumb, you know. So, you know, that gets interesting. But yeah, there's a lot. I use a lot of different right hand techniques, and whatever I'm doing, it's really kind of just favoring whatever is supposed to be happening. So that's pretty much it. The right hand to me is it's a very useful tool. It's one of the biggest things because it's my motor. This is just feeding in the notes. This is the motor. This is the guy that's running the whole show, really. So I always think that way. Favor this. I'm a lefty. I play righty, but I love having my dexterity up here, right? And then I have just over the years developed a good fingerstyle, sort of thing, right? So if I can, you know, peel up something like that, or if I, you know, laying down a thumb independent finger bass line thing. So it's that independence of the thumb. There's ways of developing that. I like using Ray Flackey had a nice one. So just need that steady thumb. And then I'm slightly staggered on my between the cracks on that. And that separates the two parts from each other. You know, if I went just right on, it doesn't have the same thing, you know. So developing so that your lead line, your voice, that other voice is a separate voice from this pumping. This is my beat. Hardest thing to do there is keep that thumping. You know, that's the hardest thing. It's not throwing in the riffs, but and then it's the separating the riff from the thump. You know, so it gets into a interesting thing. You could spend hours just trying to develop that upright, and you know, and I'm also very prone on doing hammer-ons and pull-offs in between this thumb middle finger thing. So on that thumb, I got two notes. I might do a quick hammer pull, right? See, so that's where I'm kind of developing my speed. It's kind of a legato and attack with fingers type of approach. So it's all that. So it's all these different combinations of ways of developing a sound. So hammer-ons, pull-offs, finger taps, you know, and virtually tapping in things. So that's another video. And sometimes using the mute to clean things up. Take that off, so you can get a lot of noise. Take that on. Now, before this thing ever came along, which I ended up, I found that by way of looking at Matteo Mancuso and said, oh, that's a cool little thing. Because forever I was doing it with just string blocking, you know, which is a very useful thing. So if I'm playing over here, I have my whole heel of my thumb laying down on all these strings, and I'm probably blocking some of this. Yeah, so I've got these two fingers just hanging on those strings, and I'm blocking things out. But if I do this, I don't need to do that. See? So it kind of frees me up. So I kind of like that. It's a nice little invention, and that's how to work it. Let it free your hand. And sometimes you want some ambience. You want some of those. What they are is sympathetic harmonics. Okay, so if I hit this E and I stop it, there's all kinds of same note. So I got two strings worth over here that are giving me that very same. So if I kill that one, still have that one, see? Now go like this. Oh, I'm using an open string. Let's do a G. No, let's find something that I'm going to really trigger something. I'll do an A. Okay. At least this one isn't open. So let's do this now. Yeah. So anyways, yeah, mutes come in very handy at times. So, you know, it's a handy tool. I'm using the Neural DSP Chord Cortex, and I'm on a one of the, I think it's a factory preset, but I got it in my presets, and it's called Blues on the Top. And it's, of course, I have my adaptive gate, my noise gate going all the time. I got a good compressor going. It's a VCA compressor, and it's just lightly there. And I'm using the Twin. So it's the US Twin Vibrato is the amp. And I'm using a 412 cabinet for a IR. And then, well, might as well go through the whole shebang. I'm also using, no, wait a minute, sorry. I got a little bit of tape delay in there, and I have that very slightly on. You could just barely... So it's quite a whiz before it goes. And then I'm just using hall reverb. So, yep. So I've got a little bit of a twin. Yeah, sounds like a pretty decent twin. Alright, well, thanks. Thanks for watching. I stretched it out a bit. I was hoping to give you some good blues ideas, good blues licks and riffs. And looking at some of the chord voicings that I use a lot of knives and you know, altered doms and stuff like that. 13th chords and stuff gives it more of that up, sophisticated jump blues type of sound. I'm always kind of going for that, because in my head I can hear the horns and the whole orchestral settings. So I hope that helps you out, and if you like this stuff, I'd say, you know, ring the bell so you get notifications when I put stuff up. I don't always just do this. Sometimes it'll be I'll showcase a student, or I'll showcase some gear, or I'll showcase maybe the Boss. I got the RC600 Looper station, and so sometimes I'll lay down a whole little looping track and get some bass and everything. And with the rest of my gear, I've also got a lot of good Chrome, Nautilus, and chord gear and stuff that really fills it out. Anybody interested in any kind of music lessons, I teach all sorts of instruments. And you can find information on that at musiclessonsdelivered.com. And like I said, you know, thanks for watching, and if you like this, then please subscribe. The more subscribers makes this a lot more favorable to do. Okay, thank you. Thank you ever so much.